Welcome to week 1 of Explore the Bible in the summer of 2021. Excited about getting started on this series. We're going to be looking at 2 books this summer. The first going through the book of Job and then looking at the book of Ecclesiastes. What a great way to spend the summer. You say, man, 2 books from wisdom literature and challenging books to understand, challenging books to deal with, of course. But we're going to be diving into them. I think you're going to enjoy this study. If you haven't looked at these books in the past, you'll learn a lot. Maybe if you have looked at them before, you'll pick up a few things that you haven't seen before, maybe haven't noticed. So I'm excited about looking at these passages with you this summer. We're starting today in Job chapter 1 and kind of the beginning of the story. And what we find here is a conversation that takes place in heaven. That is behind the scenes. And one of the things that this brings out to us very clearly is we have no idea who wrote this book. We don't know. It kind of seems hard to think Job wrote the book. Somebody wrote it though. Somebody inspired under the Lord's leadership writes this book, tells us this story, and gives us this beginning scene that sets the stage for the whole rest of the book. And this is really important, this beginning, because it gives us knowledge that Job and all the other characters in the book don't have. We have a knowledge about what's going on, and it helps us to understand as we read the rest of the book what's happening and where the truth lies, and to not mistakenly take passages from the rest of the book and misapply them, misunderstand them, because we don't know what happened at the beginning. We do know what happened at the beginning, and that lays out this basis for us to understand the rest on. Okay, so we see this conversation that takes place between the Lord and Satan. I don't know how often this happens, if it happens anytime other than this, but here it is. Then the Lord said to Satan. Satan's been roaming around, right? He's been looking at people. He's been talking to people, right? He's been having conversations with his other demons, I guess. Let's put it that way. He's been looking at people. And now the Lord says to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? No one else on earth is like him, a man of perfect integrity who fears God and turns away from evil. Okay, here is the Lord talking about Job. And here is the Lord's description of Job. And this is high praise, isn't it? Now, I think it becomes clear as we read through the book that Job is not perfect. He is not a man who has never done or never will do sin, but he is a good man, right? He has high integrity, perfect integrity. What he says, he does. What he believes, he lives. He is honest. He is a man whose secret life is the same as his outward life, right? That he's a man of perfect integrity. He's a man who fears the Lord. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? He has a fear of God, a healthy reverence for the Lord, an understanding of who God is and his place and Job's place and God's place. He has that right? He fears God. He is not think, well, I'm God, I'm just as good, I know as much. He doesn't. He fears the Lord. He knows the Lord is better, greater, more magnificent than anything Job ever could be or could strive to be. Right? God is God and Job is not. That kind of deal. Okay? He fears God. And he turns away from evil. He does not embrace sin. He turns away from evil, not towards it. This is one of the things we, go to James chapter 4, right? To turn from it, to run from evil, to not stay there, not tempt yourself, but turn from evil. That's Job. He lives a life of integrity, right? Nobody, the Lord says there is nobody like him. He's different from everybody on earth. And this has happened in the Old Testament. Think about Noah. Noah was one of those men, wasn't he? Noah was like that. Okay. Satan answered the Lord. Well, does Job fear God for nothing? Haven't you placed a hedge around him, his household, and everything he owns? You've blessed the work of his hands. His possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he owns, and he will surely curse you to your face. Satan basically says, well, of course Job is a good guy. Of course he honors you. You've given him everything. I mean, you protect him. He doesn't have any hardship. He lives a blessed life. Of course he follows you. You've made his life easy. It's no big deal. You've protected him. You've protected his house, everything he owns, right? You've blessed his work. His possessions have increased. He's getting rich, right? He says, but look, you start taking stuff away from him and you watch, he'll turn on you, Lord. He is a fair weather friend. He is just a fair weather follower of God. He is not in this for the hardship. He is in this because it's been easy. Now, I think that a lot of us would say we could relate to that. We maybe know people like that. Maybe we have been like that, right? Satan says his life, he honors you and praises you because you have blessed him. But if he is not blessed by you any longer, he won't praise you and honor you. That this honor and praise is solely a result of his life and the way how you've treated him. It follows after the way you've treated him. Okay? It's a pretty big challenge. So, very well, the Lord told Satan, everything he owns is in your power. However, do not lay a hand on Job himself. So Satan left the Lord's presence. Okay, so the Lord says, I'll tell you what, I will allow you freedom in his life. You can't kill him, but you can take whatever, right? You can do that. So here's what happens now. Satan challenges the Lord about Job. Job is brought up before Satan by the Lord, right? He's a good man. Satan challenged him. Well, that's just because you've given him all this stuff. And the Lord says, okay, well, you take that and let's see what happens. The Lord has full confidence in Job and Job's faith, right? But he says, you can test him. And in a sense, the Lord is testing him, not by taking stuff, but by allowing things to be taken. The Lord is testing his faith, right? To prove his faith, not to see if it's there, but to show that it is, to give evidence of it. Because Satan is basically playing the part of how a lot of people are. We'll see that. A lot of people look at Job and say, well, the only reason he follows the Lord is because the Lord's blessed him. That's why he acts that way. That's why he does that. Satan poses that, and the Lord says, okay, we'll test him. We'll prove that faith. We'll see it. So, one day, when Job's sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and reported, while the oxen were plowing, the donkeys were grazing nearby, the Sabaeans swooped down and took them away. They struck down the servants with the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. So one day he's with his kids. They're having, a nice dinner. They're partying together, right? A good fiesta time. And then this messenger shows up and says, all your donkeys are dead. All your oxen are dead. And the servants, they're all gone. This other army came in and just killed them all. Okay? And then while he's talking, and we're not going to read that, but somebody else comes in and says, man, there was like a fireball from heaven came down and it killed all the sheep and all those servants, devoured them completely. And then somebody else comes in and says, man, the Chaldeans came and they made a raid and they stole all your camels. So all your livestock is gone and all your servants that were taking care of them, they're all dead. It's been a bad day. And then here comes another messenger in while he's still saying that, right? I think we've got that when he was still speaking when another messenger came and reported, your sons and daughters are eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. Suddenly, a powerful wind swept in from the desert and struck the four corners of the house. It collapsed on the young people so that they died, and I alone have escaped to tell you. So here his sons and daughters are having this nice party together. And while that's going on, Job starts getting messages. And one, you've lost all your oxen, you've lost your donkey, you've lost your sheep, you've lost your camels, and then you've lost your children. Your whole family is gone. Your family's wiped out. They're dead. Right? There's a wind, a random kind of a tornado comes and hits them at the exact same time that all these other things are happening. A tornado comes and wipes out their house and they're all dead. I just barely got away to come and tell you. So the Lord said, you can do whatever you want, Satan. I'll give you that permission. The Lord establishes in his sovereignty, establishes the boundaries of what Satan can do. You can't kill Job, but you can take whatever. And he takes his family, his wealth, all of his sheep, all his cattle, all of his livestock are all gone. All the servants with them. He has wiped him out. Then Job stood up and tore his robe and shaved his head. This is grief, right? And he fell to the ground and he worshiped. Okay, Satan thought if I do all this, he will curse you, right? We go back and see that, right? Here's what Satan says. You strike everything he owns and he will curse you to your face. he will curse you to your face. What did he do? He fell to the ground and he worshipped. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will leave this life. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Throughout all this, Job did not sin or blame God for anything. Job was not the man Satan thought he was. He was the man God knew him to be. And this event revealed that faith that was there. It showed what was there, that it was real. It wasn't about, this shallow thing that as long as I'm taken care of, I'll love God. But if he starts taking my stuff, I'm not going to love him anymore. It wasn't this shallow faith at all. It was a deep, abiding faith that Job had, that no matter what happened, he loved the Lord. And he knew, I came in with nothing, I'm going to leave with nothing. I can't take my sheep and my cattle with me when I die. I don't have anything. The Lord gives it, the Lord can take it away. He is the sovereign God. Blessed be his name. He's sovereign over everything. He didn't sin at all. He didn't come up and curse God. He didn't tell him what a sorry God he was to allow or maybe cause all this to happen at all. He didn't do that at all. He blessed the Lord. He knew the Lord was in control. I'm just going to tell you, the first chapter lays out, this guy is a man of high integrity. We go back here, the things that the Lord said about him, a man of perfect integrity who fears God and turns away from evil, those things were true, weren't they? That's who Job is. That's who he is. And we see that in the test that happens. The test is not there to see if you have faith. The test is there to reveal the faith that is within you. It brings it out so that others can see that it is real faith. It's not just about having a good life and things have been easy, therefore I believe. Not at all. It's real. And that's what happens for Job. You see his faith shown. It comes out so clearly for everybody to see. I hope that helps as you prepare to teach, as you study. And God bless you. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel so that every week on Monday, these come out every Monday, so you'll be able to watch. You'll have them, they'll come up on your feed. So do that. Subscribe and share, like, comment, all of that to let us know how God's using it. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.